What's good? What's good? Um, I'm sitting in the parking lot of Costco right now. My beautiful daughter is she's still sleeping, so I'm not able to get out of the car just yet. I'm gonna let her rest. But that makes me think about the way parenting has really shaped my life. Once you become a parent, oh dang, that was some crazy parking. Good on you. Uh, Once you become a parent, you begin realizing that your time is no longer just your time. And one of the things that I said in the previous video that I hope resonated with a few people was that, you know, scarcity comes in all shapes and sizes, right? You could have feelings of financial scarcity, feelings of friendship scarcity, and feelings of time scarcity. And I think time scarcity is one of those things that we don't really realize how much that affects us in our day to day. And I think for me specifically, being a parent, one of the things that I had to do or felt that I had to do was make more time for myself. So no matter the way that you look at it, some people see time as this illusionary construct. Some people see it as this thing that's just a fact of life, and like that's the way it is. No matter the way that you look at it, similar to energy, you can neither create it or destroy it, in a sense. But what I began doing so that I felt that I had more time was I began waking up earlier, a few times a week. So a few times a week I would wake up at 4 a.m. And yeah, the first few days were difficult. I'm sort of a morning person, so it wasn't as difficult for me specifically. But in doing that, when I was up at 4 a.m., the house was quiet, my daughter was asleep, my older son was asleep, and my lady was asleep. I felt like the house was mine. I felt like the space was mine and the energy was mine. And it almost felt like time was moving slower. So in um, in those moments, I felt like I was not necessarily creating more time, but I was um, creating a space for more value within the time that was there. Because first and foremost, I was not asleep. Secondly, I was completely, I was focused. I was not distracted. And the other thing is, if you're waking up at 4 a.m., you're just not going to BS. I mean, I'm not going to BS. I'm not going to wake up at 4 a.m. just so I could be doom scrolling or doing something non-productive with my time. But what happened was I began creating better music, and better in the sense of like it just flowed a little better through me. I was able to just get out these musical thoughts and ideas a little more easily, and and they were more complete because so much of what was happening in my life and what has been happening in the last few years since my daughter was born. She's now 3 years old, but you know I want to be a very present father, right? And I want to give her all my time and all my focus and all my energy. Sometimes I failed at that, but that was always my priority. That was always my goal. But in doing that, something has to give, right? So then over the course of time, there was this like push and pull feeling that I had of like, do I give my time to my art or to my child? And you know, your from my perspective, your child should always take the precedence, but at some point your art is going to suffer. And a part of being an artist and a part of being an artist and a parent and someone that's got other responsibilities outside of your artwork is finding the balance, right? So for me, when I began waking up at 4 a.m., it was my space. It was my time. And my level of appreciation for my time stepped up dramatically. And then once I got used to that feeling of being awake in the morning and doing that, and mind you, I was only doing this twice a week, maybe 3 times, because I was already waking up early on Wednesday mornings because there's a gym that I DJ at, John Reed Fitness. So I was driving downtown anyway on Wednesday mornings at around 6 a.m. So Tuesdays and Thursdays would be my wake up early days. I would bundle those 3 days in a row in the middle of the week. And it was actually very beneficial for me. It was really, really cool. And it really, really helped sort of make me feel like I was, there was no scarcity of my time. And because of that, I think I began creating from a point of abundance, at least from my time. And for me, that was hugely important, because like I said, when I was battling back and forth of like, okay, I've got a few hours, what am I going to do with my time? Or it would be, all right, my daughter's asleep she's asleep for an hour and a half. What can I do in an hour and a half? And you end up trying to cram a bunch of stuff in this short little block of time, and then you're creating from a point of scarcity. And 9 times out of 10, when I would create like that, I mean, I see myself as a decent musician, so the work I would put out would never be bad per se, but it didn't feel the same. It felt rushed. But then there were some times when that pressure made me hyper focused. But I think those moments were fewer and farther between. Everything had to be aligned, and I had to be super dialed in, know what I wanted to do. But then again, that goes back to planning, which I spoke about in my last video. That's why planning helped. So if we can combine planning with making a space for ourselves to have the time so we don't feel time scarcity, we can create from a better place. So whether you're a creator, whether you're an attorney and you got some big thing that's due in a few weeks or a month or whatever, rather than cram it into your normal day-to-day blocking of time, I would say consider creating a space for more efficient use of your time. Because as we know, we can't create time, but we can create a space for a better use of our time. And my experience with that is when you do that, you create from a place of abundance, a place of focus. And then when you're done, you don't feel like, there's still things that I didn't get finished, because you work so much faster, you're unbothered, your mind is fresh. I mean, like, that's another thing that I didn't even speak about yet, but your mind is fresh. And then that goes back into regiment, which I spoke about the first time as well. So these are all practical things that I've been doing that I know they have greatly affected my ability to produce and do things at a more efficient and higher level. So what I think could be taken from this is, if you feel like you're short on time, that's okay, but also don't live in that space. We can do something about it. And my thoughts on that are, wake up earlier because your mind is fresh, the world is quiet, and be prepared on the front end so you know how to use the time once you make it for yourself. And I strongly believe that the more and more that you can do that and become regimented in that, you will see way better results. And more importantly, you won't feel scarce, or you won't feel that there is a scarcity of your time. And I think the more and more that we can create and act from places of abundance and calm and tranquility and focus and efficiency, I think the outcome and the product of what we create, there's a higher probability that it can be a better product or a better creation. So, yeah, my daughter's still in the back snoring. I don't know if you can hear her, but it's very cute. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. You can never create more time, but I think that you can create a space for a better use of your time. And that is through preparation, waking up early, and being focused. So let's get it together, man. Let's really make this our year. Let's make this our time. So let's do it. If you got any thoughts, recommendations, let me know. But I'd love to see them in the comments. And I'll see y'all soon. Peace.